drop in the ocean. There's more to be done because this is affecting the city, and especially a lot of families find themselves in this particular situation.
Okay, okay, the work of Caritas. Let's find out a little bit more. Do you get any government assistance, or do you get assistance from outside the circles of the Catholic operation, the Catholic organization, to fund certain things like that?
There are initiatives for the dioceses to generate something amongst themselves to responding to these particular situations of need. So we have under the integral work of justice, peace, development, as much as the responses and relief, especially with the man-made disasters or natural disasters. So these are all contribution to calling upon our people how we can support ourselves. I think before churches arrived here and before government even existed, our own people took care of ourselves. We knew how to take care of each other. But for some reason, now we have a small disaster, we tend to look for government handouts immediately. And to some sense, people are abusing this time of charity. And I think it is not really fair on a beautiful value that our people were so natural in taking care of each other.
Absolutely, and that pattern has been handed down generations almost. And suddenly, there is a new culture introduced, perhaps a Western culture, if you will, because there's a mixture and some elements of that in there, that now there is obvious signs of neglect and obvious signs of no care.
It is, and as you may see, the charity of people, they do give from the heart. But then at the same time, you have those people who, we have a beautiful nation that no other place on this planet has. Like, we so blessed with so many resources. And one of the things that is coming through from the Pope's address this morning, how do we share the benefits of these resources for this whole population? And this is appealing on us for the equal distribution, and especially for those that are in need. And this is something that we need to look at hereafter, because many nations would like to support us and give us assistance, but we are also risking building up a syndrome of dependency.
Absolutely.
We are not totally taking responsibility for sustainability amongst ourselves, and we are one of those rich nations. When you look at Africa, the deserts and the famine that they go through, we don't have much of that. We have our own, but it's not in that magnitude.
No, and it's almost a crime. It's a sin to deny our people almost that right. And yet we say, under the auspices of service, a lot of us tend to look after ourselves and then forget what it means to serve the people that we're supposed to. We are appointed, anointed, or elected to do that. Sorry, but that's the situation, as it were, right now. We're getting some live pictures now from Caritas here in Boroko, Boroko East. There we are, a magnificent sight. Young people, all in anticipation, all kind of excited within themselves, hoping to see the Holy Father in person, in front of them. A once-in-a-life opportunity in their lives. And while we've got that, and Caritas, Archbishop, you might also like to talk about the work of Don Bosco, which is only next door to where Caritas is right now. So maybe the work of Don Bosco, where the Holy Father is also expected to see their work and talk to them.
The two institutions lie side by side, and they are important institutions as initiatives by religious congregations within the Catholic Church. And again, I have to emphasize that these institutions exist for the benefit of our young people. They are not as what you may see just existing for their own ends. They have to serve our people, and especially the younger generation. And both of them are there to educate, for formation, and you want to upskill all our young people. And these are the human resources you talk about that this nation desperately need. And so each of them, they complement each other. And the students, especially with this, the Caritas itself is focusing on mainly on the girls, while Don Bosco is open to both the males and females. And their commitment with the technical skills and technological formation is to making them, to a certain degree, we can say, relevant to our particular world today.
Yes. And the kind of disciplines they instill in particularly the girls at Caritas, you know, if you're living in Morocco and you drive past where Caritas and Don Bosco are, you see these girls coming to school and going home. They're all dressed in their right uniforms. They all seem to be disciplined. When you look at students from other schools, and I'm not saying they're bad, but for Caritas, it is obvious in the dress they wear, and they're all disciplined, walking along the side in groups. Yeah, there they are. There's the pictures of them. And if you live in Port Moresby, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen these girls walk along the street that from their school to their homes, they're all disciplined. They all walk home, and I'm sure that in their lives, in the latter stage of their lives, they are better people.
It is, John. I think what the kind of formation that they try to instill in this younger generation is self-respect for themselves, and especially with the potentials that they have, the qualities that they have, which an opportunity like this offers them to really build on those skills and talents that they have. And self-respect is all to do with what you may refer to as the 4 areas of formation, which is the human formation, you have the intellectual formation, and you have the spiritual formation, and also the pastoral and social formation, which helps people to be better citizens of their communities.
Oh, it's like you're getting the right dose of medicine to be a whole person, a disciplined and a right person, an asset to where you are and to the country.
And our country needs this kind of integral human development to become, good contributors. We do need honest human resources to take responsibility for even the resources that we are having, as much as to be sensitive and to be fair in the distribution of these benefits to everyone.
Yes, yes. And then, Archbishop, talk a little bit about Don Bosco. I mean, almost what they're doing is almost like TVET, a program that the national government talks about, and I think in a way provincial governments tend to offer that, but it is not, it is done in bits and pieces, in a piecemeal kind of operation. Nothing is coordinated, and nothing is, I guess, if there had to be a coordinated program towards that, then the activities of Don Bosco, an established organization that's already has got the mechanism on the ground in place to go, and maybe that can be aided to go forward.
Rightly said, John. I think what we see and everyone expects that if you have to do something well, you do it better and for the long term, sustainably. And as we may learn from the situation, that if someone is doing something better, we support them, we encourage them. We, with the resources that we have sometimes very scarce, the more we distribute, and the more we are losing out and not seeing the impact of it all. And so it is important that such good work that we are seeing and the results have shown in terms of our appeal, we may say, government, you invest on this because they're already doing it. you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No, yes, you're right. And I think we're getting some more live pictures out of Don Bosco and Caritas. This is Don Bosco. There we are. That's the Don Bosco pictures, live pictures coming out of Don Bosco. They are all waiting for the Holy Father to, we are expecting the Holy Father and the team to arrive at Caritas and Don Bosco anytime right now.
I think you can feel the expectations is coming nearer and nearer and to the hour.
And it seems to be happening right now. The natural audio.
This is the gymnasium in the Caritas secondary, girls secondary school that contributed also in the games, and now the sisters and the students do benefit from it in the sense that to stage very important events, and today is one of those occasions to actually get a good view of what is happening, and with the focus these children from the street ministry and the Callan Services, which take accounts for all the disabled people, like people with special needs, that the Christian brothers have been kind of innovative in introducing to even the education system, to be able to include those children with special needs, to prepare them that they can read, they can write, and they can learn, and also to observe them back into the normal formal education system. So these two groups, you may see them as disadvantaged groups in our community and in our society. Pope Francis is much more keen to have a first-hand experience of this, and the Archdiocese of Port Moresby. And mind you, all our people who are caught up in this situation, they are from the rest of Papua New Guinea, so PNG is well represented by these children who will be now having the opportunity to have an audience with His Holiness Pope Francis, and let them express their reality, their experiences, and let us be interesting to hear what will be the message that the Holy Father will give to them as way of giving them a hope, giving them a sense of their lives, and especially young girls who are attending the school now, they are singing away joyously and welcoming the Holy Father as he is now entering the premises.
and some of some of the nuns, the sisters there, I take it they're teachers. They're excited as the students to have the Holy Father at their midst.
Notably, what the song they are singing is actually a very popular religious song sung by the United Church communities. And it's interesting that the girls have learned this to welcome the Pope with the kind of sentiments of giving praise and joy to God. And as I note, it's a very popular melody from the United Church congregation, and they are contributing such to this particular event. They actually, in the formation, they have taken up all the grandstand on the top, and to be able to provide the what you may call the background music, singing, while the children and the Callan Services are more into the center and the middle of the gymnasium. And as you can see everybody, the students are all in unison, are really singing and bringing out this joyous spirit of welcome. And I think it is very, very timely. And the Holy Father will actually note such a spirit of the young people, so joyful, enjoying life, and also importantly, giving an opportunity and hope to the children of the street ministry, as much as the those with the special needs, the Callan Services also reaching out to them.
And that is absolute wonderful picture. That is going out to the rest of the country and the world. A wonderful picture of young people getting this rare and first and the only perhaps opportunity in their lifetime to have the Holy Father come to their little institution, their little world that they attend to maybe 5-6 days a week, and to have the Holy Father come to them.
Everybody is trying to have an opportunity to touch the Holy Father as they are reaching out to him. Those in the front rows are the most privileged that they can easily reach out to him. At least noting and noticing everyone, acknowledging everyone as he moves around. And now soon he will be giving us what message that he has for them.
I can't help but notice that the media and the entourage, members of this entourage who come from the Vatican, are enjoying this as much as the Holy Father himself.
The contact that is happening is, you cannot take away anything from it. You see, these are the children of the street ministry, never had such an opportunity to feel so important and special by giving them this opportunity to encountering and meeting the Holy Father in person, first hand. And I think amongst them as well, you can, the crowds there, they are making their way to the center stage where they may give away the Holy Father may give his address. But it's just in the air you could feel this joy, and for them it is also historical, for them as persons as much as for the institution itself.
And some of these children dressed up in traditional costumes, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, they become always the attraction for the media as well. You don't get this kind of pictures elsewhere in the world, and so our children are presenting this colorful culture of our country.
That's why the Vatican television personnel are so focused, and they're getting out of the way to get those pictures in, because they know the importance of these kind of pictures. As the Pope will no doubt recollect his coronation visit outside the Vatican, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, and Singapore. And no doubt Papua New Guinea is trying to make this as memorable as it can, not only for the people of Papua New Guinea, but for those who come from the Vatican and the Holy Father himself. And on the stage is the Holy Father and also our Cardinal, Sir John Ribat, who I've no doubt will say a few things, few words to the children and those who are gathered there. And again, you've got the personal assistant to the Holy Father is seated right next to him in case he needs anything. The Archbishop of Port Moresby and the head of the Catholic Church in Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands, Cardinal Sir John Ribber.
Hello.
Yes, hello to you. Up as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Check. Now we are here to welcome our Holy Father, Pope Francis, to our children here, the street children, and also Callan Services children. Right, so our Holy Father, Pope Francis, has said, in the church there is room for everyone. His visit today reminds us that Jesus does not point his finger at anyone, but opens his arms and embraces all. As we see with him on the cross, Jesus never closes the door, never, but invites us to enter. Jesus welcomes. The words of Pope Francis provide us with consolation, support, and encouragement. They give us motivation to live with the vulnerable, case the street children, and also our handicapped children, in our society, in our deliberate commitment, promote justice and peace among our people. Your Holiness, your visit is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most of us who are gathered here. We are excited to be part of your visit, which encourages us to renew our commitment to our faith community. Your voice comforts us in our struggles and heartaches. We are indebted to you for making yourself available to us. We rediscover the gift of faith and hear again the call of Jesus to get up and walk. Your presence in our land helps all of us to know more about who and what we are, to love what we know and thus serve what we love. In an era of great advancement in science and technology, the Church keeps our hopes alive by accompanying us and leading us forward in life. Thus, we recall where we have been and where we are going. We remember you in our daily prayers, Holy Father, especially that you may have good health. May God bless and protect you as you carry out your ministry. Thank you.
Can I bring the mic?
The opportunity for the Holy Father to deliver his particular message in response to what His Eminence Cardinal John Ribat has a way of welcome and also assurance of prayers for the ongoing journey of the Holy Father to the other nations, and especially acknowledging our sensitivity and accommodation of the children especially, and those with special needs as these ones. He himself saw the need when he saw the children in Port Moresby in the streets. He initiated this particular ministry and has been faithful to promoting them, and is now giving opportunity for children to go back to the formal education. And these children who are dancing, particularly they come from the central province, but in particular our Guelala Mountains in the Diocese of Verena, and most of them are living around in the settlements, especially Wada Wada in that area near East Rojo, but also in other settlements. But I think, as usual, they will not be only the Guelalas who are dancing there. All the other peer groups have joined in with the excitement to be part of this experience. That is why we are seeing a good crowd of children who are dancing the Guelala dance. This Guelala dance is always typical because of the rugged mountains, that they are fast to jump from spot to spot, especially when they are scaling up and down the mountains in the valleys, and that you can see in their particular dance. It will be something the Holy Father never seen in his life, coming from South America and background with from Europe. This is something quite unique, and I'm glad that they are giving the opportunity. Our children, they have had the opportunity not only to continue roaming the streets, but at least to have to reflect in their culture and make something worthwhile of themselves.
And if you look at the Holy Father, he hasn't moved sideways or looked sideways. He's absolutely focused on the kids, the way they are dancing. And if one of our cameras was there and listening, maybe they should do a close-up of the Holy Father. He's enjoying this. Look at that. He's taking in just about every step there. The kids, the Guelala, from Guelala kids, you're saying their dance reflects how they would negotiate the hills and the mountains that they move around. So their dance reflects that. Of course, of all the dances in Papua New Guinea, every dance always has or says something about the environment with which all Papua New Guineans live in. I just think that the Holy Father is completely mesmerized by this.
I spent 10 years in the Diocese of Verena, and this was a popular sight always in
The dance?
the dance. It's interesting that they've taken it, even though they left the mountains and grew up in the city, they still have the natural feeling for the beat is there. As they say, you never forget your roots.
Look at that. I think that's fantastic. Look at the Holy Father. He appreciates that, I'm sure, as well as our cardinal. I think after that, there will be a question by one of the, from the Callan service, and I think the name we have here is Karen Mara, who is scheduled to ask a question, I'd like to think. I think we're waiting for that to happen, and then there will be two questions. One question from the Callan service, and the other from the Children of the Street Ministry. And I think the microphones are being put out there for at least the first one, Karen Mara. Very interesting what they'll say, and we'll bring you the audio. We'll listen to what they will say to the Holy Father and the Cardinal.
Good evening, His Holiness. Thank you, Holy Father, for your presence among us. I personally thank Callan Services for persons with disability, run by Christian brothers to take care of us. Holy Father, I would like to ask you, 1. Why do we have to suffer with our disability? 2. Why am I not able like others? 3. Why this suffering? 4. Is there hope for us too?
Holy Father, Holy Father, Holy Father, we are truly blessed with your presence. We know you love all the children because you have taken the initiative to meet with us, even though we are not helpful. Sometimes we are troublemakers. We roam around the streets and become burden for others. We thank the Cardinal and the Archdiocese for starting this ministry to help us educate and look after us. I would like to ask you, Holy Father, why we do not have opportunities like other kids do, and how we can make ourselves useful to make our world more beautiful and happy, even if we live in abandonment and poverty.
Are poignant, and they also will be questions that ourselves we ask. Why do we have to suffer, and why can't we be part of the excitement and the enjoyment around us? And for children to ask these questions does spell their thirst, their hunger, their desire to be included and to be inclusive in how society distributes and includes them in our activities. And that is why these questions the Holy Father himself has heard and will soon make a response. And sometimes he will just speak off the cuff, because as the Spirit moves him, he will give this kind of a response. That is, when the children ask questions, you cannot judge what intentions that they may have or any hidden motives for such a question. It is straightforward, and as children, they only say what really they feel and what is truly their desire. And that is how these children representing the Callan Services and the children from the street ministry does represent their friends, their peer groups, to voice their concerns. We look forward to hear what will be the response from His Holiness Pope Francis, as he heard what was maybe called, he heard them with his heart, and always he's been always a promoter of the experience of to be compassionate towards others, and also to be merciful. And we will see, you may take up some of those responses in the coming opportunities that he has. I think at the moment we've heard the questions, and there might be more presentations.
And I think there will be some sort of a response from the Holy Father. But the other point I want to make is the clarity of the questions that the students, the kids, 8 to 12 years old, 8 to 10 years old, the clarity of the questions that they ask was just incredible, very clear, and they spoke the English language very well as well.
Notably, the first question was a mixture because of the sign language that aided this child to already be considered involved in conversation of interest, and using the sign language to be able to do that. One is to learn the different sign languages, and the other may have to learn to interpret that in order for comprehension, understanding of the language. And I think the Holy Father, listening, can properly and truly understand the need of this, as they acknowledge the Christian brothers who did something to help the teachers, that in their imparting of knowledge, to use all the necessary techniques to be also inclusive to those people, especially with special needs, to imparting skills to read, write, and to count, and to feel part of everyone.
That, I think, is a fantastic effort from the children of the street ministry. I'm sure the Holy Father thoroughly enjoyed that. The other thing about that is that the flags that the kids and the mothers they were holding, they were all representative of the country, represented each province of the country. So that little performance there was a contribution from every corner of Papua New Guinea, and was demonstrated and performed by the smallest of our citizens in front of the Holy Father. The Holy Father is giving a response, making some sort of a statement there, and it's being translated, of course, by the clergy next to him. Now, the reason why we cannot bring to you the full audio and its clarity is because I think the response is not part of the coordinated program, and that the system was not hooked up for that. So, but at least the important thing is those who are there at the hall are hearing and listening to that response. And we may sometime later on down the line bring you the full context of that when we get it to hand. But as it were, it was not mic'd up so that we can't bring you that. This was the decision just made right there and then for the Holy Father to give a response.
He will be saying along the lines the Church's commitment to integral human development, especially in this case looking at the needy in society, and the children of the street ministry has been an initiative of the Cardinal of Port Moresby to address this growing reality in the city, may set for all the dioceses with the influx of people living behind their proper places, and now he's responding to that.
Like anyone else, because we are all unique in God's eyes. It is not only that there is hope for everyone, as has been said, but I would add that each one of us has a role and a mission in the world that no one else can fulfill. Even if it involves difficulties, carrying out our role and mission will also give us a great deal of joy in ways that are different for each person. True, we all have limitations. There are some things we are good at doing. There are things we struggle with or cannot do. This, however, should not determine our happiness, which comes instead from the love we put into whatever we do, give, and receive. The most beautiful and important thing in our lives is always to love, and to welcome with open arms the love we receive from the people who love us. This is so for each person, no matter how or where they find themselves. Did you know that this is also true for the Pope? Our joy does not depend on anything else, only on love.
E questo ci porta all'altra domanda. Come possiamo rendere più bello e felice il nostro mondo? Certamente con la stessa ricetta, imparando giorno per giorno ad amare Dio e gli altri con tutto il cuore e cercando di apprendere anche a scuola tutto quello che possiamo per farlo nel modo migliore, studiando e impegnandoci al massimo in ogni opportunità che ci viene offerta per crescere, migliorare e affinare i nostri doni e le nostre capacità. Avete mai visto come si prepara un gatto quando deve fare un bel salto? Prima si concentra e punta tutte le sue forze e i suoi muscoli nella direzione giusta. Magari lo fa in un momento veloce e non lo notiamo nemmeno, ma lo fa. E così anche noi, concentrare tutte le nostre forze sulla meta, che è l'amore di Gesù e in Lui per tutti i fratelli e sorelle che incontriamo sulla nostra strada, e poi con slancio riempire tutto e tutti con il nostro affetto. In questo senso nessuno di noi è di peso, come avete detto, tutti siamo doni bellissimi di Dio, un tesoro gli uni per gli altri.
This brings us to the second question. How can we make our world more beautiful and happy? For sure, with the same recipe of learning day by day to love God and others with all our hearts. We can also do it by trying to learn, even at school, all that we can, and to do so in the best way possible through studying and putting our best effort into every opportunity we are given to grow, improve, and refine our gifts and skills. Have you ever seen how a cat prepares itself when it has to make a big jump? First, it concentrates on directing all its strength and muscles in the right direction. Maybe this happens quickly and we do not even notice, but the cat does it. We can do the same by focusing all our strength on our goal, which is love for Jesus and in Him for all the brothers and sisters we meet on the way. And then with new energy, we can help everything and everyone to be filled with love. In this sense, none of us is burdensome. No, we are all beautiful gifts from God, a treasure for one another, as you all have reminded us.
Grazie bambini, grazie tante per questo incontro e grazie a tutti voi che lavorate insieme qui con amore. Tenete sempre accesa questa luce che è un segno di speranza e non solo per voi, ma per tutti quelli che incontrate e pure per il nostro mondo, a volte tanto egoista e preoccupato delle cose che non contano. Tenete accesa la luce dell'amore e mi raccomando, pregate anche per me.
Thank you, children, for this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you all who work together in this place with love. Always keep this light of love burning. It is a sign of hope not only for you, but for all those you meet and for our world. which is sometimes so selfish and preoccupied with things that do not matter. Keep the light of love burning, and please pray for me too.
Questions that the children raised by drawing their attention to the uniqueness of each individuals and the opportunity to always work on bringing out the best of each one, and to acknowledge those people who are helping us to grow in towards our full potential. And he continues to remind us that the way to go forward is to live together and to care for one another.
May Almighty God bless
At
you,
this point, he will now
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Holy Father just gave his final blessing, and that concludes these formalities of this particular encounter with the children of the street and the Callan Services, and he'll be soon ready to receive the gifts that they will present, and he will be on his way to the second meeting that will be for the schedule of the day. So we can see His Eminence Cardinal John Ribat, the Archbishop of Port Moresby, is doing a presentation to His Holiness as a gift and appreciation for his receiving and meeting the children of the street ministry and the Callan Services. The children themselves now are presenting His Holiness with the Papua New Guinea creche, the Bird of Paradise. I think it's on wood. And these are the gifts that he will treasure, and he does an exchange as he receives the gift from the children with the Holy Rosary, as always the popular gift that he presents to his friends who come to wish him well. These children, as we watch them coming forward and shaking hands with the Holy Father, they will treasure this for the rest of their lives, and it will be interesting to meet them later on in life to find out where they will be, what have become of them. As always, the interesting question. They are giving him and presenting him with a traditional kondo drum.
That's probably one of the ones that they were dancing with. So at least he's got one of that memorabilia.
He's curious on the headdress.
Well, a design of the Holy Father himself. How about that? From the children, from the kids themselves. That, I'm sure, he will treasure.
that will be always fond memories of visiting Papua New Guinea, and those particular gifts that they are presenting to him will always be a reminder of this particular historical visits that he has done coming to us, especially with the peripheries, the furthest, the Asia and Oceania continents.
And that's the conclusion of the presentation or exchange of gifts between the children of the street and the Holy Father. He is now being prepared or put on his wheelchair, and will be just, I guess, almost the next building, is it not, to the Don Bosco. And there he has another program which will take another maybe half an hour, 20 minutes. Bishop, brief us on that.
Well, now this particular encounter or meeting that he will be leaving the Caritas technical school, girls technical school, to Don Bosco, the shrine will be to encounter with the bishops, the priests, religious and the catechists, and the seminarians. And I think the big part of this will be talking about the work of evangelization and also formation and recognizing the catechists in a particular way, as he always referred to them as they are on the front line of evangelization. And so it will be also one of those exciting encounters where he will, so to speak, meet the people who are really on the front line, working and involved with our people in the parishes, in the dioceses, and looking at the young people who are aspiring to prepare themselves in formation for future religious life, as well as for the priesthood. And he will also recognize the work of the catechist in particular, as we make reference to the Blessed Peter Torod, the catechist and martyr. And that is always, already he made mention of that in his address this morning, showing his acknowledging the family life and what happens in family in preparing adults, how they can contribute meaningfully to the development of the nation. And this is how we see the spiritual human resources are being taken care of and acknowledged and encouraged.
Yes, and this also is quite significant for the cardinal, because the Children for the Street ministry is really his brainchild. And for the Holy Father to come and kind of endorse what he's doing, what he's done, and what he will continue to do is something that the Cardinal Sir John Ribbert will remember for a while. And now I think it will be a photo opportunity for no doubt the staff and some of the children in particular with the Holy Father.
That will be the final event of this particular program. As always, we don't want to forget what took place. So a memorable photo, or group photo like that, everyone will treasure, especially those who will be in the photo.
That'll hang on the wall forever.
And most of can be hanging on the wall of the huts.
Yes, yes.
At this point, we can really imagine the anticipation on the other side of the fence. And the next, it will be a short drive around from the Caritas Girls Secondary and Technical School, and around the front, just to the back, and at the shrine they will have the next engagement. It will be taxing for a man of his age, since early morning today, and starting off quite heavy commitments.
Yes, Archbishop, and at least this little ceremony there is focused on the children of the street ministry. You look at the Caritas students that are seated on both sides, all sitting there. I mean, the temptation would be for some of them to come down and try and shake hands with the Holy Father, but they are sitting there. It's as they are told, as it is programmed. This is a moment for the children of the street ministry, and they're all taking it in themselves from the side, whereas at center stage are the children of the street ministry.
Yes, John, all these opportunities, challenges, really what Pope Francis always reminds us. When we become self-obsessed, we just forget everyone, and we're so obsessed with ourselves. But as you can say, and you are saying, let the others have their opportunity, and give them their space.
Absolutely. And of course, there's some pictures of the scene outside of the Caritas, and of course the people of the Barroco area, and no doubt are scaling the fences, climbing the trees, the branches that are near, to get a glimpse to see what's going on. And the Holy Father is now being led away for his next engagement, which will be the final of the day. And it's been quite a busy one at that. In the morning, a church service, a private church service at the Apostolic Nunciature at that's the Vatican Embassy at New Guinea Hill here in Corbusier. And then, of course, there was a courtesy call to the Governor General of Papua New Guinea, the Grand Chief Sir Bob Dade at Government House, Government House, Konidobu, and then just a hop across from that end to the other side to Ella Beach, to APEC House, where he also spoke to leaders there, church, politicians, business leaders, and a good group of people. And the point we want to make there was it was completely a bipartisan meeting of all the political leaders of Papua New Guinea. Both the opposition and the government were all in attendance, members were all in attendance, putting whatever it might come off on Thursday aside, and paying homage of giving this event the importance it deserves. And after that, he had lunch and retired for a couple of hours. He is, don't forget, at least nearly 88 years old, and is now traveling around in a wheelchair, so he's not exactly a young man. But he's decided to come to Caritas, and this is where we are right now, They've just finished that part of the program for today, engagement today, and is now going across, as you say, Archbishop, just over the fence to the Don Bosco, which will be a program where the Don Bosco, we were talking a little bit earlier about and we can see some pictures now of Don Bosco right there, where all the students are all expecting his arrival, which will be the final engagement for the day.
That picture gives us from the inside of the shrine in Don Bosco, and everyone is seated in anticipation of the Holy Father's arrival. So as we've noted, it will be a short drive out from Caritas and entering back on the other side of the fence to Don Bosco.
Yes, and the program there is, of course, a brief one. There'll be a welcome remarks by Bishop Otto Sepre. He's the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. And then there is to be a testimony by a nun, Sister Lorna Janel. There'll be a testimony there, and also a testimony from Father Emmanuel Moku of the Archdiocese of Port Moresby, as well as another testimony from a catechist and a representative from the synod. Archbishop, tell us about that.
The testimony from the lady Grace Frakia, she represented Papua New Guinea in the recent synod on synodality in Rome. That was last year. And in this particular synod or gathering, the Holy Father, Pope Francis, is advocating a church of walking together, talking together, and listening together to each other. So he kind of opened up the traditional synod is always being the bishops discussing, but this time he opens up for the aspects of society to make a contribution, and he calls it the synodality. The synod of synodality is how do we listen to each other, and how do we talk, and how do we walk together in search of a better future. And as we've been remarking that this is a typical Melanesian way. Papua New Guineans, we are so good in having to arrive in consensus. We talk together before we do things. When we don't talk, we don't get involved ourselves. And it is something that quite interestingly, they heard our particular experience that typically, and we hope we don't lose sight of this, that we give every opportunity to everyone in the family to express themselves. We may not agree with what they are saying, but at least they are able to give that space to voice their concerns. And we all have to do some things like that.
What a world that would be if that were like that. But of course, it doesn't become that. Now, I think we've now come back to the media center, and as the Holy Father is making it.
It's a traditional Catholic practice. Everybody would like to receive a blessing for their holy objects, and most of them are craving to get at least as close as they could get a blessing from the Holy Father, whether it be their personal rosaries or a statue or any holy pictures, holy objects. They actually are counting on this blessing, and some of them, no matter where the Holy Father touches or not, as long as they know that they were there, the experience of being present with Him, that's already count a lot of blessings.
Absolutely. I mean, for some of them, the rosary, naturally, they will hold on to that, go to church with it, pray with it, and, if I might add, die with it as well.
Yes.
For them, it's very, very important. Some sort of memorabilia, and I'll just go back to the visit by Pope John Paul II in 1984 in Mount Hagen. When he stepped out of Kagamug Airport, he was driven up to the Pope John Paul Oval today in Mount Hagen. And when he got off the Pope Mobile onto a pavement or a sandy sort of a area that they set out for him, the first step he put down, somebody went and scooped that sand and put it into a plastic and took it away and said, that was the first step of the Holy Father in Mount Hagen, so I'm going to keep that sand and it'll be under my pillow all the time. So there you are, you know, I mean, that's quite an experience at that time.
Yes. And let it be said also that the Holy Father, you can see how relaxed he is just amongst all these kind of crowds, fearing nothing of our people. There is really, you can see the people are so fond of him, closer to him, and he just feels safe to be just in their midst.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is also, I might add, Archbishop, that it is a security consideration for the people. And let us tell you this, that the security personnel of the Holy Father are there. Maybe they're invisible, but be assured that they are there.
As you already noted yesterday, the number of security personnel around at this time, and also the preparations that he took, the logistics and making sure to cover, and we are just in the real full day of these days, a few more, tomorrow the full day, and the Monday is still not over, and the concerns are still as high for our security personnel.
Absolutely. And you're just praising all our people who are working overtime to ensure that we get the visuals out to them. The security personnel are also planning their little, what they have to do to get ready and be prepared for whatever happens. And so they're prepared for anything and everything.
And even given the status of the Holy Father, his age and also his health, he is having also a very good team of doctors around, also amongst mingling. Apart from the security personnel, the emergency team also is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it'll be like that tomorrow. It'll be like that even on a trip to Vanimo on Sunday afternoon after the church service here. So we will be getting across to the Don Bosco site in just a couple of minutes as the Holy Father makes his way over there. And I think what happened to Caritas just a moment ago now, I mean, to look back at it, the pictures, the people, and particularly the statement by the two girls, I think in this case, and how clear and how precise they were. And one of them almost begging, everybody else is right, why are we like that? That question, it touched me a little bit, it got me a little bit. We should be like everybody else. Why are we like that? Almost begging the Holy Father for some sort of an answer, some sort of a cure, some sort of something to look forward to get away from where they are right now. I thought that was touching.
Yes. It is a personal experience, but also it's a very typical human experience. You know, we also ask the questions, why do good people they die first?
Absolutely.
And we just have no answer, because we say, did you choose to come? Did you choose to be born? These are some of the mysteries.
The security people are conscious of it, and of course those who are walking near the small Pope Mobile are security personnel. And there are no doubt Papua New Guinean security personnel involved, as well as those that have accompanied him all the way from the Vatican. To the gates of Don Bosco Institute. Is it like a tertiary institution status, a university status? What status is it in, Archbishop?
It is a higher learning institution. They come under the Department of Higher Education.
And they do get some funding from the government as well?
I think they do, yes.
Because they do a great job. It's like TVET,
Yes.
where, and they're setting up TVET schools in many parts of Papua New Guinea. So, and Don Bosco is already established.
The setup of the Technological Institute, to a certain degree, they may have capacities that are even beyond what the department is having in terms of government regulations and that, because they are well advanced. As from the start, it was like you have to give the best to build up your human resources, and so they do have a lot of opportunities in terms of technological formation and development.
Yes. And as the Holy Father is now it's on his wheelchair and is being taken into the inside the complex, those who are meeting him, are they to do with the Don Bosco Institute, or are they clergy from some of the other provinces?
The meeting that he will be now going into is a meeting that includes bishops, priests, religious and catechists, and seminarians. So most of them are already seated inside the shrine, the building, but these are things, they are using the children to welcome him and the young people to welcome him, and I think that is a significant choice to passing on to the children and the youth. They will remember this for a long time in their lives.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So you have the Cardinal himself there, and with the President of the Bishops' Conference, the Bishop of Berena, Bishop Otto Sakari. There's a couple of bishops working. And this is the shrine from the exterior.
Quite an impressive building there. And people probably don't know that such a building is such an institution. It's almost like university status in some of the other cities in developed countries.
It is heading towards that status. It is always the challenge to align those two, the state-church mutual partnership for these things to move forward.
Okay, okay. Okay, the moment they've been waiting for. Don Bosco.
There's a big number of religious women who we find in many learning institutions like schools and health centers, pastoral work, working with the young people, the children are there, apart from the priests and the religious men, the catechists, and of course the seminarians, and the bishops themselves.
And of course all the bishops and the priests, catechists, and even the sisters. You know, they're Catholic, but you have your own, like, house mamlong oliet, huh?
Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, SVDs and...
Yes. I think the simple way to simplify or to understand is everybody calls themselves religious congregations, meaning to say that for one congregation, for one group to represent Jesus Christ, it is too much. So you just have to represent a part of him. So the Franciscans say focus mainly supposed to be on the poverty of Christ. The Divine Word missionaries, they focus on the divine word. The word that is divine that becomes flesh, becomes one with us.
Okay.
And the missionaries of the Sacred Heart focus on the heart of Jesus. So all these aspects of Christ There's so many, but one particular congregation they say is a gift. It is a charism to be able to focus on that and you witness to that. That is why you see religious congregations focusing on education, like the Christian brothers, the Marist brothers, and then the Don Boscos have particularly focused on the youth.
Okay, okay. But here, because it's here at Don Bosco now, so all the clergy, the catechists, the nuns, the priests from legally Gausman Blongol of their own work, they are all now coming together for this event.
Yes. And as you may also understand, his presence in this particular church and shrine gives a special significance again to this historically speaking, even like the Caritas school. They will always put a note on this that Pope Francis came and visited the school at this particular time. These were the activities that he engaged in. So it adds to, so we talk about the series of institutions as well.
Okay. And you call this a shrine?
Yes. This shrine is dedicated to Our Lady, to Mary, the Mother of Jesus, but especially under the title of Mary, Help of Christians. Yes.
So the program is set to begin. I think the welcome remarks will be from the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference.
The far side is the Cardinal of Tonga.
The one in black?
One in black, yes. He's joining. He became a cardinal before our Cardinal John. And again, he comes from Tonga. He was also appointed by Pope Francis.
Together with our cardinal.
Yeah. And he became cardinal before us. And the question was, what's important about Tonga that they have to have a cardinal?
And why not us? Okay. Okay, before the welcome remarks by the President of CBC, just tell me why the Cardinal of Tonga is in black and the rest are in white. Is there some significance in that?
Actually, when everybody are in Rome, everybody, all the bishops, we wear black. And apart from this, it's more a practical decision. Our bishops thought, we are not in Rome, we are in Papua New Guinea, so let's just wear white.
The welcome remarks by President of the CBC.
Seminarians and catechists from Papua New Guinea and the region of Oceania. I offer you a warm welcome to this beloved country. It is a beautiful land with 800 different languages and cultures, and of thousands of tribes. We represent Caritas and people of goodwill who are our collaborators in the mission of the Church. We are delighted and grateful that you travel thousands of kilometers to this part of the world, one might say to the periphery of the world, be with us as part of your apostolic journey. Your Holiness, we are full of joy to have you, our Chief Shepherd, with us today, for you are the figure of Christ. Above all, your presence among us helps to reaffirm and rekindle commitment and dedication to Christ. And each of us, at this time, your presence is a church in this land, and reach us individually as it confirms our Christian oneness. In this regard, you are royalty to you, Holy Father, and the universal Church, as well as to our ongoing and tireless commitment, global task of evangelization in Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands. Welcome, Holy Father. We love you. Thank you.
Holy Father, Pope Francis, it's a great honor Holy Father, it's a great honor to stand in front of you in the name of the Holy. Thank you very much for inviting me out of ministry, the House of Hope in the midst of humanity. The House of Hope provides security, shelter, hope and healing, forgiveness and integration for those in need, due to the accusation of witchcraft and sorcery. There are like accused and money
Video is breaking.
I think we have a little problem with the audio. I think it was the testimony from Sister Lorena General after the welcome by the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Bishop Otto Sepre, and then it was Sister Lorena General giving a testimony, and this will be followed by another testimony from Father Emmanuel Moku. He is from the Archdiocese of Port Moresby. So, but on the stand there, still giving the testimony, is Sister Lorena.
Sister Lorena is a missionary that works in the Diocese of Mendi, and as you are aware, with the sorcery accusation related to violence, she's been very active in advocating and especially protecting a lot of women who have been accused and taken and being hurt, and she advocates for them to try to educate the population, especially around the suspicion of sorcery. And it is a painful experience working with the women, and that's what she dedicated her lives to, and she's just sharing this as one of those pastoral challenges we have, and also a law and order issue.
Yes, and as if we didn't have enough problems with violence against women, and this is another type of killing or another type of marginalizing a key and important member of the family, the mother, the female in the house, and yet we've come up with things like sorcery that is now, it can become very deadly in some parts of the country, and particularly some parts of the Highlands region. There are reports of ladies being killed, accused of practicing sorcery after someone dies in their village or whatever, and they blame it on her.
Yes.
And absolutely no basis whatsoever.
Yes.
So she has a handful with what
Yes.
she has to do in the
Yes.
Southern Highlands.
She works together with the Bishop of Mendi, Bishop Donald Lippert, and now they are just sharing their particular experience of this pastoral challenge.
Yeah, she does a great work. She gets a hug from the Holy Father, or at least gives the Holy Father a hug, whichever way.
She's been a missionary almost rest of the life here in Papua New Guinea, particularly in the Diocese of Mendi.
Well, there you are. People giving the best of their lives in service to another country. And in this case, a nun giving her the best of her life, her economic life, if you like, her best life to Papua New Guinea. And this is another testimony from the Pater Blong Archdiocese of Port Moresby, Pater Emmanuel Moku. Tell me about the testimonies. What are they? Speeches, testimonies, description of what they do?
I think it boils down to, as Sister just did, giving a snapshot on pastoral activity and the challenges involved. And he would be his comment around how the catechist handles their pastoral work in the formation of people in the faith. And so that's basically what he is trying to share as a testimony that from the experience, practical challenges and experience with working with our people in imparting the faith, properly forming people to understand what, especially in terms of living together as human beings, as made in an image and likeness of God. And so that is what he's sharing as much as the same for the first. The sister is so they are basically very involved with the practical pastoral work and what they encounter, their successes, but also their real challenges.
Yes. Here at the media center, the audio, the sound we are getting from Don Bosco is a little bit noisy. That is why we are talking over what the good father's testimony is. So we want people to understand that. As soon as it's restored, we'll get back to it.
Stood in front of them to celebrate with the Cardinal St. John Ribart. I believe my service as a priest is my contribution towards the building up of the kingdom of the vineyard of God on earth. The last part of my sharing, I want to share my cultural challenges in my ministry as a priest. The first one, the challenge of moving from a local church that has received so much to a church that is local and to provide is a challenge. To be a local church, self-sufficient, sustained. Secondly, the challenge of communicating the twofold purpose of marriage. As both companionship for life and caring and of educating the children in Papua New Guinea is another challenge. The third challenge is the young people in Papua New Guinea. The young people are especially called the leaders of tomorrow. They should be trained, they should be cultivated, they should be nurtured. And let them embrace the priestly vocation of a diocesan priest or a religious priest. That will be fruitful for the church. And lastly, my response to the constant struggle to integrate the Catholic Church faith in our cultural identity, I comment from Iglesia in Oceania. Let the face of Christ show in the culture of Papua New Guinea. Thank you very much.
On the beauty of working for serving the people, but also noting the challenges that one has to overcome in working amongst the communities, amongst the people as a Catholic priest. They are now singing a song in response to those two testimonies so far, and I think as it worked out, there's a religious woman, which is the Lorena, giving her testimony, and a priest, and now they will have followed by a catechist, and these are what you may say the three key people who are, after the bishop takes a lot of the work caring for people in the work of evangelization, apart from the delivery of those social services with education and health.
Holy Father, I stand here on behalf of my fellow brother catechist, James Atariva of the Archdiocese of Port Moresby. I read, my name is James Atariva, and I am 68 years old. I am from the Goilala district in the central province of Papua New Guinea. I am sharing my experience as a catechist. I began my service as a pastoral worker in 1982 at Holy Family Parish in the Archdiocese of Port Moresby. For 15 years, I did my pastoral work and then graduated as a full-time catechist in 1997. During my time as a catechist, I have experienced good things as well as challenges. I have been responsible for 6 zones with 10 chapels. What I enjoy most about being a catechist is walking through the villages and serving the people, encouraging children in their catechesis, and being a friend to all. My main challenges are as follows. The challenge of a lack of resources. At times, local communities have supported me with financial assistance, but at other times, I have to sell garden vegetables to afford what I need to do with my work effectively. Number two, the challenge of how to travel to the distant communities within the parish. Currently, I have to work to the further communities in order to do my pastoral outreach. Third, the challenge of balancing the demands of pastoral ministry with the responsibilities of family life. Number four, the challenge of the influence of other denominations. Sometimes we receive criticisms, and I do not want the Catholic faithful to lose their faith. The fifth challenge, the challenge of fewer people committing to be catechists, especially the younger generation. Regardless of all these challenges, I am happy and I enjoy what I am doing because it is for the glory of God and to win more souls for heaven. I sum it up with James Etariba's question. How can we convey the enthusiasm for mission to young people? Thank you.
The catechist, Mr. James Etariba, but was Mrs. Lucy of the Archdiocese of Port Moresby, and she is
prayerful
active
greetings, Holy Father, Pope Francis.
And at this stage, we will now listen to Grace Vrakia, who represented Papua New Guinea in the Synod on Synodality in Rome last year, and she is now going to give us her testimony.
I returned from the first session of the Synod in 2023 with much enthusiasm, like returning from a big feast with food to share with my family. Many people say that synodality is our way of life in Papua New Guinea and in the local church. But as we continue to merge our Melanesian way of life with other ways and ideas, we risk losing this identity. The method of conversation used at the Synod gave me a voice to share the Melanesian beauty of communal and relational way of life. We in Papua New Guinea should develop and use more of such conversation methods so that the wisdom of the simple people in our peripheries may be heard, respected, and valued. As the first ever lay person to be given voting rights at a synod, I long to see more men and women as partners. Young people embrace their innocence and youthfulness. Priests and religious working together as collaborators. Priests being more servant-like leaders. Local PNG missionaries supported in their vocation. Lay people being active participants and decision makers as well. And Christians, we all stand united at the foot of the cross of Jesus Christ. Finally, I long for the beautiful aspect of synodality in our Melanesian way of life, merge beautifully into the life of our local PNG church. Change is inevitable, but in PNG, it is a much more slower process. a process which requires patience and love. Holy Father, how can we share the beauty of our simple synodal way of life in such a rapid changing world? Thank you, Papa Santo. Thank you for listening to us and coming to visit us.
Participated in the Synod of Synodality, a process of which Pope Francis invited participants from all churches throughout the world to make a contribution with the spirit of talking and listening to one another, walking together in search of a church that will be relevant to our time, but also inclusive of all voices to take part in the conversation. And that is how she expressed that beauty of that experience, and how, as Melanesians, we are very good at this practice. We open up for everyone to participate in the conversation, the discussions, because after that, everyone will contribute their food, their pig, and their sing-sing for any celebrations.
Okay, we now have an address to address from the Holy Father. Let's take that.
Presidente della Conferenza Episcopale per le sue parole, come pure James, Grace, Suor Lorena e Don Emanuel per le loro testimonianze. Sono contento di stare qui in questa bella chiesa salesiana. I salesiani sanno fare bene le cose. Complimenti. E questo è un santuario diocesano dedicato a Maria Ausilio dei cristiani, Maria Ausiliatrice. Voi sapete che io sono stato battezzato nella parrocchia di Maria Ausiliatrice a Buenos Aires. Speriamo che la pastorale funzioni meglio. Un titolo tanto caro a San Giovanni Bosco, Maria Helping, come con affetto la invocate qui. Quando nel 1844 la Madonna ispirò a Don Bosco di costruire a Torino una chiesa in suo onore, gli fece questa promessa: qui è la mia casa, da qui la mia gloria. Maria gli promesse che se avesse avuto il coraggio di cominciare la costruzione di quel santuario, grandi grazie ne sarebbero seguite. E così è successo. La chiesa è stata costruita ed è meravigliosa, ma è più bella quella di Buenos Aires. Ed è diventata centro di radiazione del Vangelo, di formazione dei giovani e di carità. È diventata punto di riferimento per tanta gente.
Dear brothers and sisters, good evening. I greet you all with affection. Bishops, priests, consecrated men and women, seminarians and catechists. I thank the President of the Bishops' Conference for his words, as well as James, Grace, Sister Lorena, and Father Emmanuel for their testimonies. It is nice to be here in this Church of the Salesians, and I'm very happy to meet you in this diocesan shrine dedicated to Mary, Help of Christians. You know, I was baptized by a Salesian. In this church dedicated to Mary, Help of Christians, a title so dear to St. John Bosco, or Maria Helpum, as you affectionately invoke her here. In 1844, when Our Lady inspired Don Bosco to build a church in her honor in Turin, she made him this promise: "Here is my home, from here my glory." Mary promised him that if he had the courage to begin the construction of the church, great graces would then follow. And so it happened. The church was built. It is marvelous. And I must say that the church here is much nicer than the one in Buenos Aires. And so it happened that the church was built. It is marvelous, and it has become a center for allowing the gospel to shine forth, for forming young people and carrying out works of charity, a reference point for so many people.
Così il bel santuario in cui ci troviamo, che si ispira a quella storia, può essere un simbolo anche per noi, particolarmente in riferimento a 3 aspetti del nostro cammino cristiano e missionario, come hanno sottolineato le testimonianze che abbiamo ascoltato. Il coraggio di cominciare, la bellezza di esserci e la speranza di crescere. 3. Il coraggio di cominciare, la bellezza di esserci, la speranza di crescere. Primo, il coraggio di cominciare. I costruttori di questa chiesa hanno iniziato l'impresa facendo un grande atto di fede che ha portato i suoi frutti e che però è stato possibile solo grazie a tanti altri inizi coraggiosi di chi li ha preceduti. I missionari sono arrivati in questo paese alla metà del XIX secolo e i primi passi del loro lavoro non sono stati facili, anzi alcuni tentativi sono falliti, ma loro non si sono arresi. Con grande fede e con zelo apostolico hanno continuato a predicare il Vangelo, a servire i fratelli, ricominciando molte volte dove non avevano avuto successo con tanti sacrifici.
The beautiful shrine we find ourselves in now, which is inspired by that story, can be a symbol also for us of 3 aspects of our Christian and missionary journey that were highlighted in the testimonies we just heard. They are the courage to begin, the beauty of being present, and the hope of growing. 3, the courage to begin, the beauty of being present, and the hope of growing. First, the courage to begin. The builders of this shrine began their undertaking with a great act of faith, which has borne fruit. Yet it was only possible because of so many other courageous beginnings by those who had gone before them. Missionaries arrived in this country at the middle of the 19th century, and the first steps of their ministry were not easy. Indeed, some attempts failed. They did not give up, however, and with great faith, apostolic zeal, and many sacrifices, they continued to preach the gospel and serve their brothers and sisters, starting again many times after having failed.
Ce lo ricordano queste vetrate che adesso non si vedono perché è notte, attraverso le quali vetrata la luce del sole ci sorride nei volti di santi e beati, donne e uomini di ogni provenienza, legati alla storia della vostra comunità. Pietro Chanel, protomartire dell'Oceania, Giovanni Mazzuconi e Pietro Torrot, martire della Nuova Guinea, e poi Teresa di Calcutta, Giovanni Paolo II, Mary McKillop, Maria Goretti, Laura Vicugna, Seferino Namuncolà, Francisco de Sal, Giovanni Bosco, Maria Domenica Mazzarello. Tutti i fratelli e sorelle che in modi e tempi diversi, cominciando e ricominciando tante volte, opere e cammini hanno contribuito a portare il Vangelo tra voi con una variopinta ricchezza di carismi animati dallo stesso Spirito e dalla stessa carità di Cristo. E grazie a loro, alle loro partenze e ripartenze, i missionari sono donne e uomini di partenza e si tornano di ripartenza. Questa è la vita del missionario, partire e ripartire. Che siamo qui, grazie a loro siamo qui, e che oggi, nonostante le sfide che pure non mancano, continuiamo ad andare avanti senza paura, non so, ma può darsi, sapendo che non stiamo soli e che il Signore che agisce in noi e con noi, rendendoci come loro strumenti della sua grazia. Questa è la nostra vocazione, essere strumenti.
The stained glass windows in the shrine remind us of this. We can't see them right now, but they do. The sunlight smiles on us through the faces of the saints and blesseds, women and men from all backgrounds, connected to the history of your community. Peter Chanel, John Mazzacone, and Peter Torot, martyrs of New Guinea, and also Teresa of Calcutta, John Paul II, Mary MacKillop, Maria Goretti, Laura Vincugna, Zeffarino Namuncura, Francis de Sales, Don Bosco, Mary Domenica Mazzarello. Brothers and sisters who in different ways and at different times began initiatives and forged paths only to begin again many times over. They contributed to bringing the gospel to you, together with a colorful wealth of charisms animated by the Spirit and the same charity of Christ. And this is the life of the missionary, to depart, to come back, to depart again. It is thanks to them that we are here. It is thanks to them, to their starts and restarts, that we are here, and that despite the current challenges, which are not lacking, we continue to move forward without fear, knowing that we are not alone. It is the Lord who acts in us and with us, making us, like them, instruments of His grace. And that truly is our vocation, to be instruments of the Lord.
E in proposito, anche alla luce di quello che abbiamo sentito, vorrei raccomandarmi una via importante verso cui dirigere le vostre partenze, quella delle periferie di questo Paese. Le periferie di questo Paese. Penso alle persone appartenenti alla fasce più disagiate delle popolazioni urbane, come anche a quelle che vivono nelle zone più remote e abbandonate, dove a volte manca il necessario. E ancora penso a quelle emarginate e ferite, sia moralmente che fisicamente, dal pregiudizio e dalla superstizione, a volte fino al rischio della vita, come ci hanno ricordato James e Sor Lorena. A questi fratelli e sorelle la Chiesa desidera essere particolarmente vicina, perché in loro Gesù è presente in modo speciale. E dove c'è Lui, il nostro capo, siamo anche noi, suoi membra, appartenenti allo stesso corpo. Un corpo ben collegato e ben connesso mediante l'aiuto fornito da tutte le giunture. E per favore non dimenticatevi, vicinanza. Vicinanza. Voi sapete che i tre atteggiamenti più belli di Dio è la vicinanza, la compassione e la tenerezza. Vicinanza, compassione, tenerezza. Se una consacrata, un consacrato, un prete, un vescovo, un servitore, un diacono non sono vicini, non sono compassionevoli e non sono teneri, non hanno lo spirito di Gesù. Non dimenticate questo: vicinanza, compassione, tenerezza.
In this regard, and in light of what we have heard, I would like to recommend an important direction for your own starts, namely the peripheries of this country. I think of people belonging to the most deprived segments of urban populations, as well as those who live in the most remote and abandoned areas where sometimes basic necessities are lacking. I think, too, of the marginalized and wounded, both morally and physically, by prejudice and superstition, sometimes to the point of having to risk their lives, as James and Sister Lorena reminded us. The Church desires especially to be close to these brothers and sisters because in them Jesus is present in a special way. And where He, our head, is present, there are we, His members, for we belong to the same body, joined and knit together by every ligament. And please do not forget about this closeness, being close to everybody. The attitude and the ways of God consist of three behaviors: compassion, closeness, and tenderness. And we always need to remember that, especially as priests and deacons and those who serve the people. Compassion, tenderness, and closeness.
E questo ci porta al secondo aspetto, la bellezza di esserci. Possiamo vederla simboleggiata nelle conchiglie china con cui è ornato il presbitero di questa chiesa e che sono segno di prosperità. Esse ci ricordano che il tesoro più bello agli occhi del Padre siamo noi, stretti attorno a Gesù, sotto il manto di Maria, spiritualmente uniti a tutti i fratelli e le sorelle che il Signore ci ha affidato e che non possono essere qui, accesi dal desiderio che il mondo intero possa conoscere il Vangelo e condividerne con noi la forza e la luce. James chiedeva come si fa a trasmettere ai giovani l'entusiasmo della missione. Non penso che ci siano dei tecniche per questo. Un modo collaudato però è proprio quello di coltivare e condividere con loro la nostra gioia di essere Chiesa. Questo lo diceva Benedetto XVI. Coltivare e condividere con loro la nostra gioia di essere Chiesa. Chiesa, casa accogliente, fatta di pietre vive, scelte e preziose, poste dal Signore le une accanto alle altre e cementate dal suo amore. Così come ci ha ricordato Grace, richiamando l'esperienza del Sinodo, stimandoci e rispettandoci a vicenda e mettendoci al servizio gli uni degli altri, possiamo mostrare a loro e a chiunque ci incontri quanto è bello seguire insieme Gesù e annunciare il suo Vangelo. La bellezza di esserci allora non si sperimenta tanto in occasione dei grandi eventi e nei momenti del successo, quanto piuttosto nella fedeltà e nell'amore con cui ogni giorno ci si impegna a crescere insieme.
This brings us to the second aspect, the beauty of being present. We can see it symbolized in the quina shells, a sign of prosperity that adorns the presbytery of this church. They remind us that we are the most beautiful treasure in the eyes of the Father. Close to Jesus and under the mantle of Mary, we are spiritually united with all our brothers and sisters whom the Lord has entrusted to us, but who cannot be here, ignited by the desire that the whole world may know the gospel and share in its power and light. James asks how we can convey the enthusiasm for mission to young people. I don't think there are techniques for that. One proven way, however, is to cultivate and share with them our joy of being the church. This is what Pope Benedict said, to cultivate and share with them our joy of being the church. The church, a welcoming home made up of living, chosen, and precious stones, placed by the Lord next to each other and cemented by his love. As Grace's experience of the Synod reminds us, by esteeming and respecting one another and putting ourselves at the service of one another, we can show everyone we meet how beautiful it is to follow Jesus together and proclaim his gospel. The beauty of being present, then, is experienced not so much at large events and moments of success, but rather in the faithfulness and love with which we strive to grow together every day.
E così giungiamo al terzo e ultimo aspetto, la speranza di crescere. In questa chiesa c'è un'interessante catechesi in immagini del passaggio del Mar Rosso con le figure di Abramo, Isacco e Mosè, i patriarchi resi fecondi nella fede che per aver creduto hanno ricevuto in dono una numerosa discendenza. E questo è un segno importante perché incoraggia anche noi oggi ad avere fiducia nella fecondità del nostro apostolato, continuando a gettare piccoli semi di bene nei solchi del mondo. Sembrano minuscoli, come un granello di senape, ma se ci fidiamo e non smettiamo di spargerli, per grazia di Dio germoglieranno, daranno un raccolto abbondante e produrranno alberi capaci di accogliere gli uccelli del cielo. E lo dice San Paolo, quando ci ricorda che la crescita di Dio, la crescita di ciò che noi seminiamo, non è opera nostra, ma del Signore. E lo insegna la Madre Chiesa, quando sottolinea che pure attraverso i nostri sforzi è Dio a far sì che venga il suo regno sulla terra. Perciò noi continuiamo ad evangelizzare pazientemente, senza lasciarsi scoraggiare da difficoltà e incomprensione, nemmeno quando queste si presentano là dove meno vorremmo incontrarle, in famiglia, ad esempio, come abbiamo sentito.
Now we come to the third and final aspect, the hope of growing. In this shrine there is an interesting catechesis through images, incorporating the crossing of the Red Sea and the figures of Abraham, Isaac, and Moses. They are the patriarchs made fruitful through faith, who received a gift of numerous offspring because they believed. This is an important symbol because it also encourages us today to have confidence in the fruitfulness of our apostolate, continuing to sow tiny seeds of good in the furrows of the world. They may seem small, like a mustard seed, but if we trust and do not stop scattering them, by God's grace they will sprout, yield an abundant harvest, and produce trees capable of welcoming the birds of the air. St. Paul reminds us that the growth of what we sow is not our own work, but the Lord's. Holy Mother Church teaches the same thing when emphasizing that even with our own efforts, God is the one who makes his kingdom come to earth. Let us continue, therefore, to evangelize patiently, without allowing ourselves to be discouraged by difficulties or misunderstandings, even when they arise in places where we especially do not want to encounter them. In the family, for example, as we have heard.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, ringraziamo insieme il Signore per come il Vangelo attecchisce e si diffonde in Papua Nuova Guinea e nelle isole Salomone. Continuate così la vostra missione come testimoni di coraggio, di bellezza e di speranza. E non dimenticate lo stile di Dio, vicinanza, compassione e tenerezza, sempre avanti con questo stile del Signore. Vi ringrazio per quello che fate, vi benedico tutti di cuore e vi chiedo per favore di non dimenticarvi di pregare per me, perché ho bisogno. Grazie.
Dear brothers and sisters, let us thank the Lord together for how the gospel has taken root and continues to spread in Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands. Carry on your mission as witnesses of courage, beauty, and hope. And do not forget the style of God, which is closeness, tenderness, and compassion. I thank you for what you are doing, and I bless you all from my heart. And I ask you, please, do not forget to pray for me. I have need of your prayers. Thank you.
But pray in favor, not against.
Okay, well, what did you think about that, Archbishop? You know, he spoke in 3 places today, at the APEC House and with the children of the street ministry. But the longest is this one here. He's speaking to the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Island, and also the Catholic faith workers. That speech is a little longer and meaningful.
Yes, as he
Jesus, Almighty Mother of God, pray for our sinners now and at the hour. The Lord is with you.
And with your spirit.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Now and forever.
Our help is in the name of the Lord.
Who made heaven and earth.
May Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
The Holy Father just gave a final blessing to the audience, the congregation that is being there at TBTI, where the shrine of Mary, Help of Christian, addressing the bishops, priests, religious, and catechists, and in doing so, acknowledging them for the work and the challenges that they have to encounter in the work of evangelization, in proclaiming God's kingdom. And I think at this point they will now have the presentation of the gifts. I see the Bishop of Lay.
A lakatoi is a multiple-structured sailing watercraft traditionally used in the Hiri trade cycle. Lakotois are fashioned from 2 or more dugout logs fastened together to give stability and cargo carrying capacity. The 2 or more dugouts are joined by poles with a platform built on top. The sail is a crab claw sail. The Motuans lived in a dry region. Because of the harsh, dry season, they did not have enough suitable areas for the growing of sago. On the other hand, The Motuans, unlike most people of Papua New Guinea, were skilled in the art of making clay cooking pots. During the traditional Hiri trade, they carried the much prized Motu cooking pots to the people of the Gulf of Papua and brought back plentiful supplies of sago for the Motuans. The gift that we are going to present to you is a replica of one such lakatoi. As we present this gift to you, Holy Father, we humbly ask you, please remember Papua New Guinea in your prayers.
Here the lokatoi presented to the Holy Father, and he's also asked to remember Papua New Guinea in his prayers. The last message. And this time there'll be a choir. And I think while that is about to take place, an opportunity for the other bishops to get a close-up acquaintance with the Holy Father. He, I think, spoke at length about their work, Archbishop, in Papua New Guinea. He talked to the bishops about their work. He talked to all the other Catholic faith leaders who've worked here, and in that there was a mention of the Holy Father who had visited us before, John Paul II, who's now become a saint. And he's also mentioned Blessed Peter Torot, who is now, there is now a process under which he will become a saint for this part of the region. So he's acknowledging those faithfuls who've worked, and it was quite a statement to hear the name Peter Torot mentioned.
Of course, he did the responses to the four witnesses, and the catechists do play an important role in the work of evangelization, in the sense that the catechist represents the local communities and always work in collaboration with the missionaries. The catechists always being people who understood the language, the culture, and they receive the missionaries and assist the missionaries in their work. And in many cases, and he alluded to that also, that the catechists do a lot of groundwork in helping to prepare for the missionaries and continue to further the work of the missionaries, the local contribution. And Blessed Peter Torot in that regard did a lot, especially when all the missionaries were taken away during the Second World War. He was present with the people and encouraged them, worked with them, and of course uphold the teaching of Christ, especially for the beauty of family life and sacrament of marriage. And the same message that is recurring, that strong, good families, as we see from the children that are sometimes forgotten or neglected, the ones in the street ministries, as well as children with special needs. These are all issues on how to integrate them properly within our families, and the responsibility that not only the families themselves but the whole community can stand together and work towards, as he repeat over and over, the work of being compassionate towards others and to focus on the good of others and not to be always self-focused and selfish.
Yes, that was the message to the Catholic bishops of Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands, and of course the Catholic faith leaders over there. Now, Bishop, if we can go over some of those bishops, clergy who are on the stand there, they're all archbishops, are they? Are they bishops from, as you said, the one in the black there was from Tonga, and there's several of them in black.
Most of those in white, our Papua New Guinean Solomon Islands bishops, most of them are Papua New Guineans, of our dioceses in Papua New Guinea. Towards your left, there is the further left is the Cardinal of Tonga, and then followed by the Emeritus Archbishop of Rabaul, my former successor, predecessor, and then at the back is also the Archbishop of Suva in Fiji. But the rest, I think most of our viewers will recognize their own bishops. All took the opportunity to have a picture taken, as always the occasion that a memorable occasion you don't want to miss.
Yeah, well, of course you missed that. You're an archbishop, you're Archbishop of Rabaul, and an opportunity that you would have been there doing that, but you are here in the studio with me doing this, so unfortunately you missed that opportunity. But you've been to Rome, you've met him.
I missed that opportunity, but in any case, I am happy because I'm helping our viewers to understand what is happening here.
That's probably more important than them standing on the without there. Yes, yes. Well, it's just about coming to the end of this particular engagement of the Holy Father today. A busy one at that. So no doubt everyone else will try and get an opportunity to shake his hand and to say goodbye to him. And I think from here he retires to the embassy, to the apostolic nunciature at New Guinea Hill at Corbusier.
They may have an opportunity just to be at the front of this shrine, because there are people outside on the
absolutely,
on the field. He might have an opportunity. He doesn't ignore people. He might even redirect them to take him to the veranda of the shrine, so he could at least show face and maybe give a blessing to those people who are not able to be in the shrine itself.
Yes, and just a wave to them will do. They'll take that away, feeling a sense of achievement, sense of belonging.
Of course, and the always the boast is you've seen him on television and back in Rome and other places, but he was here, and I saw him with my own eyes.
Yes, yes.
And those for the others, no, I shook hands with him.
Okay, okay. Oh, well, that's good. So you've had your opportunity. Let's put it this way.
Yes, yes. And I think it was good that these other bishops made an effort to come from New Zealand and from Tonga, from Fiji, and also from Australia, to be present with us. Of course, when I was in Australia, the question was, is the Pope stopping by here in Australia? I said, I do not know, but if he is true to what he's saying, that he's going to those who are far off and insignificant, he may miss Australia.
On the periphery, and Australia is not on the periphery. And I think Papua New Guinea is on the periphery. Likewise, he gets a Bilum along the way. He touched it, so, and I think his staff would probably...
Yes.
Oh, yes. And you're quite right, Archbishop. Sorry, you're quite right. There is a lot of people outside.
And he seems to be heading for the big door of the shrine, so he can have a view of all those people who are outside on the field, on the playing field. That's towards the main road running to Taurama.
Yes. There he is. Well, if you like, we could say that this is him appearing at the Basilica in Rome and waving to the followers that would come and congregate to watch him. This is the PNG version of it, right here at Don Bosco.
I pray for you. You pray for me. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presence. Thank you very much. I will bless you. God bless you all, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Bye-bye.
So that will be just as concludes the formalities of this particular program, and the second for the day, the second part for the afternoon, and will be the conclusion for the day.
It will be. As he heads towards the other side, obviously he came to the veranda, the vantage point, to say goodbye to everybody who had waited, who had gathered outside. And now he will be led to his little Pope-mobile to head back to the Apostolic Nunciature, the Vatican Embassy here in Papua New Guinea, here in Port Moresby. And there you are. This just about wraps everything up for us here at the Media Center at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby, where just next door is the